Good afternoon.
Rare that I'm introducing the guest speaker. Maybe how do you be jealous because I am not the one who introducing when you speak here, but it's a special occasion. I usually introduce only young people how it is. So I have to introduce to you, some of you may not know, Miss Cherrie Atilano. So our speaker this afternoon was born and grew up in Negros Occidental, this age in the sugar land. So she started working with the parents and the farmers at the age of maybe 10 or 12 years old and teaching them sustainable way of do farming. And as we read books, during the time you're reading books, now they teach agriculture to farmers through Facebook. And at a very young age, she had really liked, has a fondness of agriculture. But maybe has no blessing from her mother because agriculture is not so palatable during that time or even up to now. That's why I think we are now supporting really making agriculture more attractive, more sexy to the young. And armed with, after that she went to the university taking agriculture. So pinanindigan niya na to take agriculture at Visayas State University. And our speaker completed her work with the farmer. At the same time, I know she was a working student also at the Visayas State University, working, helping the farmer at the same time, a student. And he wants really to work with the farmers while doing that one. He wants already the ambition to have a great impact, to create impact with the agricultural sector. So to empower the farmers and show them the great potential of agribusiness, so not only agriculture but the agribusiness itself. That's why she founded the Agrea Agricultural Systems International, where she serves as the president and CEO at a very young age. She becomes the president, the founder, and the CEO of that company or an agency. It's a very impressive one. So Agrea, maybe she will be talking more on this later, is an agro-social enterprise that aims to help eradicate poverty for farming and fishing families, alleviate the effects of climate change, and help establish the food security in the Philippines and maybe around the world, targeting more than 4.5 million smallholder farmers. Previously, our speaker worked as a consultant, maybe to gain more experience. She worked as a consultant with the Department of Agrarian Reform and helped more than 241 cooperatives of smallholder farmers in the country. So she got all those experience. She is deeply committed to make farming more desirable, more sexy for the young people, and advocate for agri-business or agri-technology. So she's a recipient of a lot, maybe how many pages of awards here. One of my favorite awards that she got is the 10 of the Outstanding Young Men and Women of the Philippines, which hindi naman kami kabatch. 2 years ago, she got it as it's a 10 Outstanding Young Men. They call it the Outstanding Young Men of the Philippines in 2018. I got it somewhere long time ago. If you got this award, they told me, you have no reason to commit mistakes. So being a TOYM, you don't have a reason to commit mistake. It's better to get award in the latter years than the younger years. So he has also an award of Inspiring Filipino Entrepreneur in 2017, Outstanding Women in Nation Service Award in 2016, and the first awardee of Women of the Future Social Entrepreneur in Southeast Asia. So those are just among others. Our speaker is also a member of the Transformational Leader Network, a new vision for agriculture, a group of top decision makers who annually gather in Switzerland to create vision for agriculture by 2050. So 2050, I think we'll have more agriculturists or those who are doing more in agriculture. As part of Agrea advocacy event, along with her mission to refine agriculture, our speaker designed and implemented GROW, G-R-O-W, a leadership and entrepreneur ship activities for the youth in the war-stricken areas in Mindanao, Philippines, which was granted from and supported by the U.S. Department of State and U.S. Embassy of Manila, Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative, for 3 years. She also launched the biggest and most innovative agri-event in the Philippines called the Leaders and Entrepreneurs in Agriculture Forum, LIFT. She will be talking a little bit on that later. In 2019, this is exciting, she was appointed by the UN, United Nations Secretary General, to be the high-level ambassador of the UN Scaling Up. This is, you have to memorize this, UN Scaling Up Nutrition. So she's ambassador for this UN Scaling Up Nutrition movement. So she's the youngest there because the other members are the former president of a country in Africa and other ambassadors also there. So you have to be proud. She's the youngest and the only Filipino there. And she's also an advisory board member of the World Bank Solutions for Youth Employment. So anything about youth, you ask her, you connect to her, so you will connect you also to her network. She is the radical optimist, a dreamer and a true believer that Filipino farmers are world class. She has been traveling around the world as an advocate and inspirational speaker, especially in her advocacy for global food security. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our very own UN Ambassador for Scaling Up Nutrition and an empowered Filipino farmer, Ms. Cherrie Atilano.
Thank you so much, Sir Glenn, for that very generous and long introduction. Usually I was just expecting just to introduce me briefly, but I was very generous for you to give your time. Thank you very much for inviting me to come here. Yesterday there was like a chaos in Manila because I live near Makati Med, and there were 2 cases in Makati Med for COVID. So now if you go to Makati, it's like a ghost town. If you go to BGC, it's like a ghost town. People are canceling their work. But we're here, it's because this is a very important occasion, you know, what we'll be discussing, and at the same time, I couldn't say no to SEARCA because, you know, I strongly believe when you work in Southeast Asia, especially in, you know, research in agriculture, but more importantly, the friendship with Sir Greg. I'm always inspired about his sharing in LinkedIn or even Facebook. Sometimes, you know, I truly believe that the work must continue no matter what. You know, people are panicking, but as in agriculture, we cannot just stop because the more we panic, the more we need to do our work on the ground. Because at the end of the day, it boils down to the food that we eat, how healthy we are as Filipinos, and how our immunity is actually very stable. So I was invited to share with you about our work in Agrea. So we actually prepared a presentation on women in agriculture. I would say that women in agriculture are the invisible food producers, right? So they're actually contributing almost 50% of the food of the world, says by UNFEO, but the recognition and participation in terms of economics not that measured well. So we're trying to give a voice to them. I'm here with Christine, who's my executive assistant, and she's also handling the special projects of Agrea. She was actually in Brazil last year to represent the Philippine youth in Brazil for the youth event. No? And Christine and I were actually talking. The women in agriculture are the ones working by the acres and not by the hours, right? So today I will be sharing with you what Agrea is all about. A lot of you, I think, knew a little bit about our company and also our nonprofit. So basically, it's a combination of for-profit and not-for-profit. You know, 2 different entities by legal entity in the Philippines, but at the same time, the 2 organizations operate very sustainably. So we have a business that also most of the time contribute to our nonprofit so that our nonprofit can work with a lot of farmers, youth, children of farmers, which also supports the building block of how we create our business. So I put here the map of the Philippines, you know, a little bit, and then how beautiful our country is. A lot of us, I must mention my friend here, Babs, and Howie. I was always like inspired how Howie chose to stay here in the Philippines. Because, you know, I always believe that Philippines is such a beautiful country. But as Filipinos, we don't really appreciate it. That the greatest resource that we have is actually our people and our natural resources in the Philippines. So just look at a picture. Our land is so productive and also it's so beautiful. So many people coming to the Philippines, when they go back, they would always say, wow, Philippines is a country of beauty. However, when you're here in the Philippines, you don't really appreciate it. The first time I appreciated the Philippines fully when I was a consultant of the Department of Agriculture at the same time with agrarian reform. And I had a chance to travel 81 provinces of the country. And I was so young, I was only 21 years old to 23 years old. Traveling the Philippines is such an awakening experience that I said that, wow, ang ganda talaga ng Pilipinas. Ang sarap mahalin ng Pilipinas. No? Sometimes it's a love and hate with the Philippines. But at the end of the day, maganda talaga yung Philippines. I've been abroad with the Scaling Up Nutrition Movement. Now our work is covering 61 countries. And for the last month, I've been traveling to several countries. And at the end of the day, after 2 weeks, you still want to go home because Philippines is still so different. So this is how we work actually in Agrea. So I showed you the beauty of the Philippines. However, there's also a lot of problems in our country, especially in agriculture, because we're an archipelago of 7,107 islands. So it's so hard to make our agriculture very sustainable because shipping food from island to island is actually a challenge, especially with climate change. We have 20 to 21 typhoons every year. But at the same time, I strongly believe that the only way to develop our country is to develop our islands, to develop our provinces, to develop our localities. Because we cannot really rely to national mandates to develop our country. We need to create really a grassroots movement, backyard to backyard, household to household, farmlands to farmlands, to develop our country. So we started the vision 6 years ago. I was alone, really. I had this chance to be invited by Pope Francis in Vatican. That was 6 years ago because I was trying to help with ex-convicts and quote-unquote high killers in Bulacan. We were building farms for them. And so Pope Francis invited me to Vatican because I'm a young woman, a leader, and working with, you know, the outcasts of the society, the ex-convicts, that no one would even bother giving programs to them. And one time I was waiting for my scholarship for Fulbright in Cornell University in 8 months to go to Cornell. And what happened was I was immersed in this community. They had no electricity, no water, no road, and the mountain was totally scraped to put up the reclamation of Asiana, where Mall of Asia is, and a lot of those big hotels now. So these people, they don't have houses, so I was immersing myself to them, and you know, after 4 years we worked with Gawad Kalinga. We built the Gawad Kalinga Enchanted Farm. It became from 1 hectare to 36 hectares when I left after 4 years. But that work also gave us a lot of leverage. We brought the United Nations there, we brought the World Economic Forum, the World Muslim Economic Forum, you know, to that farm to witness President came, you know, secretaries came to see the farm. It became, you know, a countryside model for development, and we incubated 21 social enterprises. So I was one of those people who helped develop that place for 4 years. But when I was invited with the Pope in Vatican, so I stayed in Vatican for 3 days and giving talks to Rome University and to the Vatican Academy. And, you know, we could ask questions to the Pope, and then I was asking, you know, I really want to help my country, and this is what I have been doing for the last years of my life. I started teaching farmers at 12 years old from a book that I read when I was 11. And but my first job, I was a landscaping designer. If you've been to the valley, I was part of the landscape designers who developed the valley. Bonifacio, High Street, Serendra, Market, Greenville. all those beautiful places. And I said, like, I'm still doing landscaping, but those ornamentals cannot be eaten by people, right, in the Philippines. And now our population is growing. I really want to work more in agriculture. The Pope said, capitalize on your passion, and find purpose in your passion. When you go back to the Philippines, start whatever you want to start. So I went back to the Philippines and I stumbled upon this island. It's called Marinduque. It's in the middle of the Philippines. It's called the heart of the Philippines. It's almost shaped like a heart. Last February 20, we celebrated our 100 years celebration as a province in Marinduque. And I fell in love with the place. It's because it's one of the poorest and hungriest provinces in the Philippines. However, it's 64% agricultural. So it means that even though it's poorest and hungriest, there's a lot of opportunities despite the problems pressing in the area. And 57,000 of people are relying on microfinance. So we said that, okay, we need to start something. So we coined the model. It's called One Island Economy. It's a vision that we started in Agrea. So we toyed around with the idea. We consulted so many people, consulted so many experts, and then we said, okay, let's develop the island together with the government, with private sector present in the island, but more importantly, with the agricultural community, the farming and the fishing, on how to make the island in the future zero waste. It should be eco-friendly in terms of development. The environment is preserved. Zero hunger. I'm not talking about the hunger of the stomach, but I'm talking about the hunger of human being to belong. Because I think in the Philippines, most of us, especially our farming communities, they lost the capacity to dream. They lost the capacity that they contribute a lot to the society. So we want them to have a sense of belongingness. We want them to have a sense of dignity and respect. And lastly, zero insufficiency. So zero insufficiency, this is actually our business. So by background, my favorite subject and my co-major subject is agricultural economics. So we always, in our company, we always study the economics of food, import and export in islands. So in Marinduque, our business, for example, if Marinduque is importing 91% of its rice, we work with Cherrie and Phil Rice also on how this actually can be an opportunity to change. So Cherrie told us that, Marinduque actually has a potential to be a rice producer and a net exporter in the future because the population is 230,000 only, and you have 4,000 hectares of rice land available. However, there's no intervention much on infrastructure in terms of irrigation, good quality seeds, training the farmers. So we try to provide those interventions and also provide and connect farmers to market. Second one, we study what's the number one export of the island. So island like Marinduque, it's actually very historical because I think there's 1 or 2 galleon trades made from Marinduque hardwood. During the Spanish time in the Philippines, Marinduque is the area where there's like a massive religion outburst and expression. So we have Moriones Festival. It's coming on Holy Week. One whole week, people there are walking in Roman masks, looking for the head of Lumino, going around the island, not eating, just drinking water. So, however, there are a lot of craftsmanships on wood making. So, they basically denuded the entire island to build galleon trade. So, when you go to Marinduque, our museum now is an extension of National Museum because of this contribution to global trading. So, however though, when the hardwood were cut, we were left to nothing. So when President Manuel Quezon became the president, he assigned his best friend Juan Eva to be the first governor of Marinduque and declared him to be, the governor and separate province from Quezon province. So what they did, they replanted Quezon and Marinduque with coconuts. So when we worked with Philippine Coconut Authority, they said that Marinduque has more or less 4 million of coconut trees. However, when in Agrea, our work is really, we always immerse the farmers. All our employees are required to have an immersion, stay with the farmers, live in the farmer's house, wake up what time the farmers are waking up, and work where the farmers are working. So it's a mandate in the company. So we were asking the coconut farmers, they're only earning $60 every 40 days. Sa Cobra, no? 3,000 pesos every 40 days. But what will you do with 3,000 pesos? I live in Makati, 3,000 pesos is just a dinner one night. No, so I was so guilty. I stopped eating and drinking the expensive places. I said, wow, this is a budget for 40 days of a family of 7. So we said we need to do something. So we developed some products. I will tell you later some of the products that we've been developing out of all these problems that we encountered. But more importantly, when we started, we had no data of Marinduque. So I used my savings on gathering data because we don't know how to start without the data of the island. So we've been gathering data for 6 months. We processed the data. We interviewed farmers and fishermen. There were times that I would go drinking to Bat and sing karaoke with a fisherman because, just to get along with them, know their stories. I would watch tong-its, the women playing tong-its, know them more, what they're doing, what's their livelihood. I would go to far-flung communities to really understand the farmers because I know no one in the island. I'm actually from Bacolod, so Marinduque is not my island. So I just want to start this because it's a perfect island to start. It's small. It's almost 100,000 hectares, 250,000 people now in the island. 6 municipalities, 1 governor to deal with, 1 congressman to deal with. So political landscape is very easy to manage. If I start in Negros, Occidental, until now I haven't piloted one island economy at least. I haven't scratched the ground. So this is the map of Marinduque. We have different interventions. So the green ones are actually the ongoing projects. We have an Agrea model farm and a farm school. It's around 4 hectares property by the beach. Most of our technologies are actually working on very difficult situations. It's sandy soil and saline, but we develop technology so that the farmers, when they learn, they would have no excuse because if it's growing in a sandy and saline soil, it will grow, in their farmlands. And then we also have a 62.5 hectares of turmeric plantation in Marinduque. So it's quite big. We utilize the land under coconut. So in the Philippines now, we have the largest plantation of superfoods. Turmeric is one. And we're developing a lot of high-value products out of that. We supply to pharmaceutical companies, we also supply to tea makers, a lot of turmeric products I think that you buy from the market. Some of those are coming from our farm. And we are also expanding in Siargao. We replicated the work in Siargao. We launched it in 2018 in Siargao. But it took a while to start because Siargao was a different problem compared to Marinduque. If Marinduque is poor and depressed, Siargao is a booming $1 billion tourism industry. However, because of the boom of tourism, the locals suffer. So a lot of the people in the islands, they cannot afford to buy food anymore because it's dollar price. So, and then they have tidal waves. So more and more tourists coming because of their surfing business. They are the surfing capital of the Philippines, and actually now it's becoming as the surfing capital of the world. So during surfing season, a lot of people are coming. Food is super insecure. The price doubled 5 times, 6 times the price, so the locals cannot afford. So when we were invited by the governor and congressman of Siargao to help build the food security of Siargao, which we provide, so our company also has a consultancy arm. We charge them to develop the master plan for food security of the island. And at the same time, we also build businesses within the island. So right now, the green one are actually, a lot of this are being prepared, and we will be launching and opening our farm school by March 19. The Secretary of TESDA, Secretary Pen is coming, and on March 20, Secretary William Dar will also attend. The model here is basically working with women farmers in Siargao. Why is that so? Because when we arrived in Siargao, and we did a lot of focus group discussion with the farmers, the women farmers are the ones left on their islands, their rural communities. Who among you here visited Siargao so far? Si Ma'am Alice. No one? For the youth, I think you all want to be in Siargao, right? They said oh, Siargao, it's a party place, it's a surfing place, it's a beautiful place. So it's a dream of every every young Filipino now to be Siargao. Fortunately, us were there every month. Siargao is like our second home. So Siargao, it's just not cheap to go there, but you have 12 flights every day. Last year, we had 200,000 tourists in a year coming to this small island. And in 2 years, there will be 500,000 tourists. So the problem now, the challenge is how to make the island sustainable so that it will not be closed. So we have a lot of interventions. So we are developing an organic pig farm. It's a black pig that's patented in Marinduque. Then we're bringing some in Siargao because most of the hotels and restaurants in Siargao are run by Spanish chefs. So they love their jamon iberico. So later on, we do high-value products from pig farming. And then we are also, now we just finished the installation of a rice mill. So we have a rice mill in Siargao, but we will also be working with 48 hectares of land for rice farming. And then we're also launching our farm on March 19. It's like a 4.7 hectares of farm to start with for high-value vegetables. But here, if you see in the presentation, there are like 2,000 kilograms of salad greens monthly, herbs and spices like 5,000 kilograms monthly. Those are the data we gather from hotels and restaurants. So we partner with Siargao Tourism Organization Association, Operators Association. So they have around 187 member hotels and restaurants that we work with. So it will be a farm to market and kind of farming. At the same time, it's very market driven. When we're doing our work, so this is actually a major challenge in the Philippines. Every time I go to Marinduque, I take dozens of pictures or hundreds of pictures of, produce. Even kamatis, upo, eggplant and okra, they're just wrapped in plastics and also join us in the Roro going to the island. But every time I see these commodities, we can plant all of this in Marinduque. I think, even in your provinces where you're from. But in Marinduque, we almost import everything we have. And then we have massive land to develop. But so we said it's also an opportunity to do. So actually by April, first week of April, we will have a harmonization of agriculture program in the island of Marinduque. We were invited by our new governor to help design the master plan for food security of the island of Marinduque because they found out our work is effective to the farming communities in the island. So these are actually the principles that we have. Doing good makes good business sense, right? So we always work on socially impactful, environmentally sound, great business returns, for sustainability, replicable models. So we're replicating now in Siargao, and there are 4 islands in the pipeline: Palawan, Bohol, Aklan. And yesterday, we just arrived from Albay and Sorsogon. We also want to replicate our one island economy model, even our farm school model, and Mindoro. So around 6 more islands and provinces are adapting, and of course, my home province, Negros Occidental. So we're also working on how to replicate this model, especially for our local governments to be guided that food security should be the nexus of development of every province that we have. So, and we also focus on effect policy making. So rural, for example, and localized policy making. For example, in Siargao, in the next 2 years, Siargao will really put policies that hotels and restaurants will have incentives if they source locally from local farmers in Siargao. Same also with Marinduque, there will be a policy that the import of vegetables and produce coming to the island will be so and so percentage, so that it put pressure to the locals to plant. So it will only happen with the partnership with the government. And aside from that, we are pushing for a Magna Carta for women in agriculture. So UP Diliman College of Law is helping us to craft this, authored by Congressman Bingo Matugas of Siargao. So our approach, basically, we work with a single farmer, but gearing towards always a farming family approach. So if we work with a single farmer, it's not that sustainable but we work with the family. So what can we do with the wife? What can we do with the husband? What can we do with the children? And then all of this combined, it's an entire community. So in Marinduque, there are 13 cooperatives in Marinduque that are working with us from the beginning. These are organizations under the Department of Agrarian Reform, but we're only active in 7. 7 means these are mature cooperatives and associations that we can actually start business. So we have like community maturity measurement, and it's not easy, when you do community work. We always believe that farmers can be a starting point for change. Palagi sinasabi ng farmers namin, ma'am, mahirap po talaga kami, wala kaming pagkain, wala kaming pera. Palagi sinasabi, tatay, paki-close nga po ng mata nyo. Isipin mo, for example, you're in your house, choose for a place na you're so comfortable to sit and look around. So palagi sila may activity gano'n. And then, okay, ano nakikita mo? Pagka mulat ng mata nila, ano nakita mo? Ma'am, meron po akong 100 na puno ng niyog, meron po akong 10 saging, meron akong, isang baboy na kakapanganak lang, meron po akong 10 manok na paikot-ikot sa bahay, yung asawa ko po, walang sakit, yung mga anak ko po, walang sakit, healthy. So sabi ko, mahirap ka or mahirap ka po ba? Sabi niya, ay ma'am, hindi po pala ako mahirap. So I think, the reality also is for them to teach how to appreciate what they have and to also find solutions and initiatives in what they have. So we always find it very effective if it's farmers driven and farmers initiated, but we always guide them on how to make it happen. So farming is cool, smart, sexy, and humane, but more importantly, farming is humane. 2014, I guess, I was invited to speak in the World Economic Forum, and I said, Cherrie, what makes Philippines unique or Southeast Asia as the future? I said, I think let's focus on farming. Philippines as our backbone is agriculture, so let's make farming sexy. The following day, it became a headline, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to work on making farming sexy. So, but basically, because farming, we need to change the mindset of the young to go into farming. Every time our school, when you're failing in school, mga bote ka na lang, mga matis ka na lang, mga labasa ka na lang. Farming is always, and even the fruits is always associated to failure, always associated to not excellent performance. And right now, I always tell young people that, you have so much opportunities to actually learn and engage with people and to learn more information. Like in this hall, this is a free forum for all of you. I must tell you a story. When I was 15 years old, I used to attend conferences in Bacolod. So I grew up in Silay City. Every time there's a conference, you can only attend if you're a hashindero, if you're a sabongero with, 1,000 chicken cockfighting rooster in your farm. Because it's expensive to attend conference. So what I do, I would always arrive first, early in the registration, and look for the older man with a lunch box. And then that older person, I would always tell him, Tito, pwede mo bang ipasok mo ako as part of your registration, sabihin mo na kailangan mo ng taga-remind sa'yo to take your medicine. So para makapasok lang ako sa conference, because first, I cannot afford to pay the conference, and second one, I don't have a business to begin with. So I cannot really join the conference. I cannot listen to how they plan Negros land, how they plan the sugar cane, how they plan the laborers, in the Sugarlandia. So I would always go to the oldest person in the room, take care of a medicine box just to enter, a conference. But now there's so many opportunities for young people left and right, almost all the time free. So we need to pursue that, and we need to really, put a lot of force on how to actually evangelize the young people to go into agriculture. So in Agrea, we try to work with 11 SDGs. So these are the SDGs that we're trying to measure in our company. We are actually adding one more in that SDG, the life below water, because whatever we do in the land, it affects the water. And now because of our work in Siargao, we're invited to work with the mangrove area, the fishermen also in Siargao. So we will also include that SDG in our work. So basically, we're doing this because 2017, Agrea won the UN Global Compact Award in Asia. So they audited our work, they sent people to audit our work for a week in Marinduque, and we got that. So we always do this auditing for SDG. We focus on women, especially on sustainable agriculture, because we believe that, as you know, I'm a UN ambassador for global nutrition, right? The problem in nutrition actually starts from home. You know, we really need to teach our women to plant vegetables, harvest that vegetables, cook that vegetables for their home consumption. Because I was so shocked when every time I visit a farming community, when a jeepney goes up the farming community, it has pancit canton, canned goods, you know, lahat ng chichirya, lahat ng piso-piso ng mga chichirya that sometimes the kids, they open up yung chichirya, yun yung inuulam nila sa kanin. And then when the jeepney goes down, it has buko, it has papaya, it has, you know, it has saging, mais. Sabi ko sa mga nanay, bakit niyo po pinagpapalit yung totoong pagkain sa hindi totoong pagkain? Mali po yun. So we really need to encourage a lot of our women to prioritize the nutrition in the household, but at the same time, we also focus on entrepreneurship because sometimes they will not see and put value to it if they don't see the economics towards it. So I always say that, you know, economic empowerment is actually a powerful weapon for women in agriculture coupled with education, because we need to really change their mindset and empower them in terms of business. So a lot of them, if they say na, nanay, magtanim ka, pag marami mong natatanim mo, may ulam ka sa bahay, may paninda ka pa. So dapat palagi ganun. Hindi lang pwede may ulam ka sa bahay. Kasi at the end of the day, they need cash. Because their children will go to school tomorrow, walang baon na 10 piso. So you always need to tell them na, nanay, may pagkain ka sa bahay at may pambenta ka na gulan. So we are also developing a climate resilient farming approach. So a lot of women in our farming communities are actually partnered with these programs. Coconut, turmeric, and ginger intercropping. We have 62.5 hectares. Forgive the picture, it's me. On our fields, I was just showing how tall our turmeric, they're all organic turmeric we plant. This year we're harvesting around 487 tons of turmeric. It's the most sought superfood emerging market globally. And so we're doing that. It's climate resilient. It's because that project is actually a living testament. We had El Nino for 8 months. After El Nino, all of them dried up. Imagine, I was crying because 62.5 hectares of turmeric dried up because of El Nino. And then, sabi ng mga farmers sa akin, ma'am, okay lang po yan, ma'am, kasi pagkatapos po ng El Nino, kukunot-kunot lang yung turmeric na rhizome. Pagkatapos po niya, pag maulanan, ma'am, tutubo po sila ulit. Huwag po kayo umiyak. Pero syempre umiyak ako because that's a loss of market. We promised to deliver 300 tons. Now we couldn't because they're too small and they don't have juice. So what happened to that is, the farmers are always right. You know, we've been harvesting turmeric. Look at this picture. They bloom after it rain began. After 8 months, they bloom as like so healthy, and it doubled the production. So now we have 400 plus tons of turmeric to be harvested this year. And you know, the women are the ones harvesting it, sorting it, so that we can deliver it to the market. But more importantly, these women are very, very innovative. So we also work with a lot of products with them. So when I was saying a while ago, you know, that it should not end in farming alone, in production, it also goes to value addition. So for example, in coconut, if you drink coffee in Bose Coffee, they're our partner. All the cocoa sugar in Bose Coffee are from us. So it's a partnership that we started since 2016. And so from the coconut, because the problem in coconut farming, especially for Marinduque, they harvest the cocoa sap for tuba. But then after 3 p.m., they cannot sell the tuba anymore because who will buy the tuba? All of them are selling tuba. You know, neighbor to neighbor are all selling tuba. And after that, at 4 p.m., it will ferment and it will become vinegar. And who will buy vinegar? So the price goes down. So they started drinking the tuba. All the men started drinking the tuba. And then They go home drunk. After 9 months, I'm a ninang again of another child. I have so many children in the farming communities because, you know, it's like, why are you pregnant again? Because ikaw ma'am, yung asawa ko na singgero. Anong ininom ng asawa? Because ikaw ma'am, pag yung tuba hindi mabenta, ininom nila ng mga kasama niya. Tapos ganun sabi ko, wow, kayo pala sabay-sabay kayong mga anak kasi sabay-sabay din umiinom yung mga asawa ninyo. But these are the reality in the ground that you need to have intervention also, right? So we said, okay, what are the other things we can do with coconut sap, the coconut nectar? And then, so we researched and then, oh wow, coconut sugar is actually good. So we partner with the Department of Agrarian Reform and DTI. So DTI provided us with some machineries, provided us with technology, and then DAR sponsored the training of the women. We brought the women to Quezon Province to be trained in coconut sugar making. So now the catch is the men, they cannot be drunk at night because they need to wake up at 5 a.m. to harvest the coconut sap or else it will ferment when the sun comes out. So it will ferment and they cannot harvest that sap anymore that will form into a cocoa sugar. After 9 a.m. when they harvest it, and the women cannot cook it, it will ferment. No matter how you cook it, it will not form into a cocoa sugar. So it's a very intricate product and it's all natural and we don't put preservatives. So the men now, they're afraid to fall in the coconut tree when they're drunk. But at the same time, they earn more because we buy the coconut sap at a higher price, 3 times more the price because it's higher value. And the women, they also have now livelihood. They are not just there to ano yung nagapang hinguto, nanghingutuan sila at nagchichismis, lahat na ng chismis sa buong barangay, memorize na nila, sa totoong whatever. So, you know, we made them busy in their farm. We also developed some products, like for example, in the middle, there's actually like some products with coconut jam, we have kamote, cookies from the mothers, this is like organic black rice, coconut oil, and they also, you know, they're also the ones weaving the baskets for our products. So different locations and different areas of interventions, the women are actually included. It looks good, but it's not easy to do. It takes us a while to prepare the community and to make it happen. And we also have raw honey. So right now we have a lot of honey bee houses from DTI, and also we're trying to work out with Cavite State University for honey production in Marinduque. But more importantly, you know, to make the work sustainable, we just don't stop working with elderly farmers because our farmers are endangered species. They always say 58 years old average age. They said now it's going to be 60. So we focus on educating also the next generation of farmers. So we have program under development communication. We train a lot of youth leaders and also not only in Marinduque but also in Southeast Asia. We actually had a training even in Brunei. We gathered 10 Southeast Asian countries funded by President Obama at the time to actually conduct a program for Southeast Asia. And then we also have a lot of programs in Mindanao. We have around 120 graduates of our programs. Youth from Mindanao, Zamba Sulta, Zamboanga, Basilan, Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, and now Lanao del Sur because of Marawi. Christine actually here is a product of our first youth event, no, in our farm. And also another one is we do the gulayan sa paaralan ng DepEd, but we have our own program. It's called the Garden Classroom. In SEARCA, you also have that, I know. You know, the gardening in schools. So in Marinduque, we have 30 of this, and in Siargao, we have 15 of this garden classroom. So to support our work on economic empowerment, I was saying to you, right, it's not only about also teaching them how to plant, teaching them how to do business, but really a more holistic approach of educating them. And at the same time, affirming them, because there are a lot of activities and practices on the ground, local wisdom, that they are actually working. It's just a matter of affirming them that it's working, and at the same time, educating them to what's not working and what should be done now because of climate change. So we have an Agrea We cultivate human beings so that they can cultivate the land, they can cultivate the soil. It's really about just dreaming and teaching them how to farm. Our farm school is so unique, it's TESDA accredited. Now we're opening one in Siargao. We have 500 students lined up already with budget from TESDA. In Marinduque, we produce more than 2,000 students graduated from our farm school since 2017. And the most fascinating data that we got, actually, this is in 2018. This year we'll be releasing our 2018. 58.21% are actually from 18 to 25 years old. Imagine, we were so shocked when this data came out after a year. Why? We thought a lot of young people are not interested in agriculture. So when we asked them, why are you interested? Because they said, because Agrea is cool. You know, there are young people teaching you how to do it, and they really go to the community and get us. You know, from our community, our village. And if they cannot come to our farm school because they don't have money to come to our farm school, we send a teacher. They can have, you know, they have a learning program under a mango tree, under a backyard of a farmer. So it's really about reaching out to them, but at the same time, our turnover is very, very high. So a lot of these young people now are employed by the municipality, especially our governors, focusing on agriculture. And most of them actually are starting to farm with their families. So this is a very good model. The second one is this one, result here. 55.97% are actually female enrolled in our farm school. When we asked them, why are you, interested to enroll in our farm school, they said, because the way you teach is really very relevant to us. We teach them, like, for example, if you have 5 square meter lot in front of your house or 10 square meter lot in front of your house, how do you make it something that it can contribute on the food on your table, and it can also give you money if there's surplus. So it's very practical. If you don't know how to read and write, you can still enroll in our farm school. We will teach you skills, and we downgrade even our measurement. If you don't have a measuring tool in your house, we ask them to bring like a tin can, and then we just put this is 10 ml, this is 100 ml, so that when you're in your home, you will know what's 10 ml, 100 ml. And it's such fascinating to see how this farm school now is being replicated in Siargao, and hopefully by end of this year, we're opening one in Albay, Legazpi Albay, with Don Bosco. Because Don Bosco, they have agro-mechanical for 20 years, and they invited us to develop the agriculture for the school. So hopefully, so we're just there fixing some partnerships with them. So last time, these are the batch of students we had. It's a mix of women and youth and old men, retired militaries, retired teachers, director of a TV show in the Philippines. Celebrities in the Philippines would go there and be trained in our farm. Secretly, they would go there and be trained. And last year, we also produced a show, me and Lee Chong Lee. We were Celebrity and Chong Lee, and we were hosts of Knowledge Channel, Agriculture. So it was actually done in our farm also to teach young people on how to go farming. It was launched to all high schools and elementary. Now it will be mass-produced, I guess, to reach more schools. I put this picture of Tatay Pilo because among all farmers in the work that we have in Marinduque, he's one of the most inspiring. When I first met him, he's not standing upright. He was standing like half bent, like this. And he will just see you like that. When I was meeting him, so he was working in this is our vermicomposting facility in our property. And it was donated by New Zealand Embassy because we used to host young CEOs of New Zealand to come to Marinduque and immerse for 8 days. And then the ambassador came and all of them and they won our project. So we built this, and Tatay Pilo was actually a construction worker. After that, he comes early and leaves early also. And I said, I want to offer you a job. What do you do? And then he said, I don't have a job. Pa-part-time lang. Kung may kukumpunihin, pupuntahan. Sabi ko, you want to work with us in farming? We will teach you how to farm. Sabi niya, Ma'am, hindi po ako marunong mag-farm. Hindi, turuan ka namin. And then every time he gets his payroll at the end of the week, he just put a line on top of his name. Sabi ko, may problema to. Bakit may linya lang yung pangalan mo? He said, because I don't know how to read and write. I said, okay. One of our social programs director said like, okay, Tatay, we will teach you how to read and write. After 4 p.m., you go shower in your house and then you come back, we will teach you how to read and write. So we bought him a book, like how to write A to Z. And now he knows how to write A to Z. At 48 years old, turning 50, actually turning 50, he learned how to write. And now he has a cell phone, we're friends in Facebook. Every time I go to the farm, he video everything, he documents everything, and then he would show it to me what happened to the farm. And now he is also teaching in the vermicomposting facility. He is an NC2 graduate in organic agriculture production. And by March 17, there's a launch of RCBC, Banking the Unbankable. He's the model for RCBC Bank. Yeah, Banking the Unbankable. So, for the last 5 years, he's such a witness of our work, and at the same time, the dedication that we gave to him. And slowly, he's standing like that now. He's standing upright. And then when I asked him, why are you standing like that before? You're bent. And then he said, because I'm always bullied. I'm the person that everyone in the barangay would, with their trunk, they push me to the canal. And the following day, I cannot work because my knee is broken, my ankle is broken. So now, last time, he was bullied when he was first year in us, and he went to the hospital. He has a PhilHealth ID and an Agrea ID. He was entertained in the hospital. Before, he never been to the hospital. Every time he was bullied. And now he's never been bullied. Because he's a very dignified farmer now. He's now a teacher. The people in the community in the barangay of Kawit was like telling us, especially the principal of the school in Kawit Elementary School. She's a retired principal, and then she told us, I met Pilo is Pilo at 20 plus years old. He's like the person bullied since he was young. But now I'm a retired principal and Pilo is my teacher in vermicomposting. So imagine, he has, the loyalty in our farm, in the work is there. And he's really a role model farmer. He's building his house now, he's sending his apples to school. And every time, one call in the farm, even if there's emergency, he's always there. It's like his home because it's his livelihood. So we capacitate farmers to dream for nation building. Why this is very important? The moment we forget to love our country, the moment we will not care how to even do change for our country. So in Agrea, we capacitate farmers to dream. So when you enter in our farm school, the first 3 days, even if you're so excited to plant, to learn how to plant, to learn how to mix soil, you're not alone. First 3 days is just about your vision. Why are you even enrolling in our farm school? And then what can you contribute to yourself, to the country, and what's your plan after? So after 3 days, if you sort it out yourself, then you can continue your lesson in the next 30 days. So these are the programs we do for GROW. It's Dream Awake, Cultivate. It's like Hiraya Manawari, the TV show when I was growing up that I used to watch. So these are the youth from Mindanao. Most of them are from Tawi-Tawi, from Basilan, from Butik. We cannot even reach them. They're really far-flung places in Marawi. And then we brought them to our farm. A lot of them, it's their first time to get out from that place. It's their first time to ride an airplane, a bus, a van. It's their first time to really be in a hole that, they're with other youth leaders. But this is very successful because now they're establishing a lot of halal farms in Mindanao after they graduate. So they're in our farm for 8 days. After 8 days, we bring them in front of the U.S. Embassy people, the political affairs, and they present their 7 slides business speech, and then they get an initial funding. So all of them, they always get their initial funding. And imagine from nothing, they now can speak in front. So our 8-day module has trauma healing, from the war and surviving the war up to how they can actually be, contributing as a leader of their society. So this program we're actually continuing because it's very impactful. So the garden classroom, we have 30 in Marinduque and we have 15 in Siargao. Last January in Siargao, we actually gave award to most outstanding schools in Siargao because a lot of the schools, they actually really prepared their entire school to be a farm. They work with parents, teachers, associations, and barangay. They included the barangay to be part, and the barangay health workers, BHW. So we also give an award to schools that are very innovative, on how to engage with more people. So this is LEAF, the Leaders and Entrepreneurs in Agriculture Forum. Why we do events on more of a big scale level? Because aside from that, at the end of the day, it's about branding. We need to brand farming sexy. We need to brand our advocacy sexy. If you work on the ground, we need to tell the story to them. So it was in Tagaytay, I think si Ma'am Atilano, we had 540 people who attended from 20 different countries. It was the first time, and this year, we're actually bringing it to Davao. Hopefully, when this info thing is sorted out, it will be in August 2020 together with the Kadayawan Festival. It will be part of the celebration of Davao Kadayawan Festival. So, targeting the date of August 13-14, hopefully we can see you there and hopefully it will push through when everything settles. But basically here, which is very, very exciting, we have an award to be given. It's called YALA, Young Agri Laureate Award. I was telling Secretary William Gar, he sits in our Global Advisory Board in my nonprofit, Agrea Foundation. And then I was telling him, I got so many awards at a young age, I think it's time to give an award, but you need to back me up. So the two of us will be giving this award for YALA. So there will be an outstanding young agriculture, outstanding young farmer, 18 to 25 years old, outstanding young fisherman, outstanding chef that supports sourcing local and cooking local, outstanding young scientists, those young people who choose to be in laboratories to build the Philippine agriculture, and outstanding innovators and social entrepreneurs, those people who are trying to develop products and technologies that are working well with our farmers. So 5 awards, and we also have a program called Emerging Agri Champions. It's like an agricultural innovation Olympics, partnership with SHED and the Department of Agriculture. So it will all be in LEAF. Sabihin nyo naman, dami-dami naman ginagawa ni Cherrie. Hindi ko ako lahat ito gumagawa. We have a lot of team and really, really good people helping us to make this happen. Another one is the Magna Carta of Rural Women. So this year, we're working closely with the UP College of Law to actually put this because we have a Magna Carta of Women. But if you read the Magna Carta of Women, there's one paragraph only for agriculture. So what we want to do because of the mandate of UN 2018 to really put emphasis on women contribution in agriculture, we will put a Magna Carta for rural women. And so now, I was telling you, the work is being replicated in Siargao as the first women-led agriculture island in the Philippines. To start this year, we had a scholarship fund from TESDA, good for 500 women to be trained in our farm school. And the author for the Magna Carta of Women will also be the Congressman of Siargao, Congressman Bagnatugas, so that there's a proof of concept going to support the bill to be filed in Congress. So I think I talked so much, and thank you. So I said most things except agriculture can wait, right? And I think here I don't need to explain a lot about agriculture because all of you are well aware on agriculture. But I just want to really tell you that you know, in the Philippine setting, we're still scratching the ground. Why? I co-founded an impact fund in Singapore. We are investing in agricultural businesses in Southeast Asia. You know, and I met so many proposals, business proposals from Indonesia, from Thailand, from Vietnam, because our investment portfolio is around $1 million to $5 million, you know, for a company. And every time I receive business plans from them, I say like, wow, where are we Philippines, you know? And here I am, I'm a Filipina, I'm part of this, owner of the fund, that we're investing in Southeast Asia and Timor-Leste. I was just in Timor-Leste, we're investing in a 3,000 hectares of coffee farm in Timor for Arabica. But then at the same time, I came to the point I'm always asking myself, well, these are so beautiful business plans from businesses of agriculture that are emerging in our neighboring countries. And I always put pressure to my team, guys, we need to hurry up and we need to inspire more people that there are so many opportunities in agriculture in the Philippines that we don't just put our act together on making it happen. So hopefully we can put our act together to make it happen.